Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. I'm Fred Jones, and this is episode 210. I'm joined today by my co-host, Daphne Blake.
Hey, Fred. I am really excited to get into this one today.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic. So we're looking at a new article today by Jeremy Su. It's called Boston Dynamics Robot Dog Now Reads Gauges and Thermometers with Google's AI. And it was published in Ars Technica on April 15, 2026.
Right, and it's covering some seriously groundbreaking stuff in industrial robotics.
Exactly, because, I mean, for you listening, reading a simple analog thermometer might seem, incredibly easy, like a human intern could do it on their first day.
Oh, absolutely. Just glance at it and you're done.
Right. But for AI, this represents a massive, massive leap. It's basically the difference between a robot being stuck in a cage and becoming what they call a free-range worker in the real world.
Yeah, and we are seeing this tested right now in the physical world. Boston Dynamics is actually putting their quadruped robot dog spot to work in these huge industrial facilities like the Hyundai Motor Group automotive factories.
Which are just, I mean, they're massive, chaotic places.
They really are. And Spot is out there reading complex analog instruments, checking fluid levels, looking at container boundaries, and even like peeking through sight glasses into chemical tanks.
Okay, but Daphne, I have to play devil's advocate here. Because reading an analog gauge, it's like driving an older car, right? For a human, a quick glance at the needle tells you everything you need to know.
Right.
So why is this so hard for a multi-million-dollar robot? Like, isn't a camera just a camera? What if there's, I don't know, a glare on the sight glass or a shadow on the dial?
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what Jeremy Su calls complex visual reasoning.
Okay, complex visual reasoning. Break that down for me.
So it's not just snapping a pristine digital photo. In a messy physical space, you have dust, weird lighting, shadows. The AI has to understand the contextual geometry of multiple overlapping needles, faded tick marks, and tiny text all simultaneously.
Oh, I see. So if there's a harsh shadow, the AI might think the shadow is the actual needle.
Exactly. Traditional models just make a probabilistic guess based on pixels. They get confused by the physical noise. But Google DeepMind just solved this with a brand new model they announced on April 14th, 2026, the Gemini Robotics-ER 1.6 model.
Okay, so how does ER 1.6 cut through all that chaos? Because messy environment is basically hostile to an AI model.
It really is. The secret here is a breakthrough capability called agentic vision.
Agentic vision.
Yeah, Google actually first introduced it in Gemini 3.0 Flashback in January 2026, but now it's in robotics. It combines visual reasoning with the ability to write actual code. So it creates a visual scratch pad to inspect images.
Wait, hold on. Is a visual scratch pad basically the AI showing its work in a high school math class? Like, instead of just guessing the dial's number, it's virtually drawing a line on the image to measure the angle of the needle first.
Yes, that is exactly what it's doing. It writes a little script in real time to isolate the dial, find the pivot point, and mathematically prove the angle of the needle.
Oh, wow. So it's not guessing at all anymore.
Not at all. And the performance leap Sue mentions is just staggering. The older model, ER 1.5, only had a 23% accuracy rate on these instruments.
Yeah, only 23%.
Yeah, terrible. But with agentic vision, ER 1.6 jumped to 98% accuracy.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition by coaching you in AI.
So, Daphne, before the break, you mentioned that ER 1.6 hits 98% accuracy on dials. But I also saw in the article that even without the heavy code writing, like if you need to save battery on the robot, it still hits 86% just by virtually pointing to different elements.
Right, exactly. Which is still a huge improvement over 23%.
Absolutely. But let's talk about the environment itself, because getting a dial right is great, but industrial environments are full of, unexpected clutter, and real physical dangers.
Yeah.
How does it handle the unexpected?
Well, Hisu brings up this great example of a highly cluttered image they tested the model on. It was a messy pile of tools.
Like wrenches and stuff.
Yeah, hammers, scissors, paintbrushes, just scattered everywhere. And the new ER 1.6 model correctly counted and identified all of them.
Let me guess, the older 1.5 model struggled with that.
It completely missed the scissors. And worse, it famously hallucinated a non-existent wheelbarrow in the middle of the room just because the researchers asked it to look for one.
Wait, really? It just invented a wheelbarrow?
Yep, it wanted to please the user, so it just mapped a phantom wheelbarrow into the space.
See, that is wild to me. Because if an AI chatbot hallucinates a historical fact, it's embarrassing, sure. But if a 100-pound robot hallucinates a giant metal object in a physical factory, that's a massive safety hazard. It might swerve to avoid this ghost wheelbarrow and walk right into a moving forklift.
Exactly, Fred. The physical stakes are so much higher, and that is why Google is framing ER 1.6 as its safest robotics model yet.
So how does it stop those kinetic hallucinations?
It uses something called multi-view reasoning. So Spot isn't just looking through one camera anymore, it's cross-referencing multiple camera streams at once.
Oh, so if one camera thinks it sees a wheelbarrow, the others can be like, nope, nothing there.
Precisely. It verifies its own physical space. And it also adheres to physical safety constraints now. Like, it knows how to handle liquids safely based on physics.
That's incredible.
It even perceives human injury risks. Sue notes that the model can recognize the severe danger of a child sticking something into an electrical socket. It understands the context of danger, not just the objects.
Wow, so it truly understands the physical stakes of its environment. I mean, thinking about the listeners here, robots have always been these highly choreographed machines doing repetitive tasks in, like, cages.
Yeah.
But AI is turning them into genuine free-range workers dealing with the unpredictable real world.
It really is. And I'll leave you with a final thought on this, Fred. If AI can now perfectly read old, dusty analog gauges and dials with 98% accuracy,
Yeah.
will companies completely stop upgrading their factories to digital smart sensors? I mean, we might be entering this weird era where cutting-edge AI exists entirely to maintain decades-old legacy analog infrastructure.
That is a wild paradox to think about. The most advanced software just keeping 1970s hardware alive indefinitely. Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Please buy us a coffee, and remember that we're experts at coaching you and your employees about AI. We'll see you next time.